Owning a small business can be overwhelming. How can your business stand out and connect with customers? Easy. Get Constant Contact. There's so many places to reach customers. Email, text messages, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, live events, the list goes on. How are you, as the business owner, expected to own all of those channels? That's where Constant Contact comes in to help. With Constant Contact, you'll reach new audiences, grow your customer list, and communicate more effectively to sell more, raise more, and fast-track growth. I use this to grow my email list, and you should too. So get going and start growing your business today with a free trial at ConstantContact.com. Just go to ConstantContact.com right now. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall. ConstantContact.com.
Hello, fellow internet weirdos. This is Kirk Henderson, and you are joining me for our second live show. This is Group Therapy Live. Oh, man, the Mavericks just lost to the Clippers, 109-97. I think everybody really expected me to be pissed off, and I suppose I am, because losing is never fun, but also it's only 6 o'clock as opposed to 1 in the morning, which is what the Tuesday night game is going to be like. And I just, kind of one of those things. I'm not super mad because it's like kid has lost all 3 of his game ones. And when I found that out midway through the game with Dallas down by like 18, it's like, oh, okay. Because they really only have competed in a single one of their game ones, which is like mind numbing. And that was against the Jazz. I want to say against, who are the other 2 playoff series? Against the Suns, they lost. They were down pretty big, even though they only lost by 7 points. And against the Warriors, they were down big. So what are you going to do here? All right, we got 2 guys that are waiting to come up. For those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with how this show goes, I posted a link in the comments. I want you to click on that if you'd like to come talk a little basketball with me. We can talk kind of anything, things you like, things you didn't. And we'll hang out until we don't have anybody else that wants to talk. If you are looking to troll, good luck. I have small children. I get trolled all day. That's kind of my life. Yeah, I can hear you good. What's going on?
Why can't I hear you?
Probably because
there we go.
There we go. What are you thinking, my guy? Did you go out for a drive after the game?
Yeah, man. I'm as frustrated. I mean, my technology's not working, and I'm just highly frustrated at this game, man. I mean, more frustrated that I felt like they didn't show up until the third quarter.
Yes.
Like, I've only seen Gafford look that exhausted or tired or whatever he was, but he got pumped, like flat out in the paint. And the type of defensive intensity that we'll need to actually make a dent in this series, it came in the second half, but it was too little too late. It's almost embarrassing that we were able to close the gap that much, because it's not like we are a seasoned team that, we're not the Nuggets or even the Celtics that's been to these playoff battles where we can just show up anytime we want. Why weren't we as hungry as them? Why weren't our tenaciousness, even when you're missing shots, like we didn't go after them on the defensive end. We didn't get the 50-50 balls. Our defensive intensity was horrible. And I'm not going to just get on the game plan, but it seems the first quarter letting Luka kind of mess around, getting whatever he can get, and then try to get the other team involved as we go. I don't know if that's ideal for. I think we may need to reverse it. I think we may need to get everybody involved. Maybe the second quarter, Luka chases after his shot, and then see how the game goes forward. But I don't know, man. I'm not trying to overreact because of one game, but even there's a lot of things that we're missing outside of people not making shots. That has me frustrated.
Well, I've watched a lot of these games multiple times over the past, at least the last 15 games of the year, maybe barring the last two where the Mavericks lost. But during their win streak, they actually played quite terribly in multiple first quarters, only to pull it together and then like blank teams for 20 to 24 minutes at a time. And it was one of those things where, okay, did the Mavericks think they could ease into this? Because like someone in the chat pointed out that like Luka looked a little passive early. Like Luka didn't look good. Like he didn't look bad. He didn't look injured. He looked distracted. And I thought the Clippers, like, you add that to the fact that the Clippers, like, played him very well. And he just, his numbers were okay. But, I mean, again, 15 missed shots, under 50% from the floor. Like, that's too much shooting for Luka. And Kyrie didn't really try to get it going. And things have worked the way they've worked during the win streak. And it just felt like the Mavericks were treating this like another regular season game, not a playoff game.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that, I'm sure playoff experience brings. And I think, Kyrie and Luka, would kind of drive the ship a little bit more. Now I do know, I'm pretty sure Jason Kidd has a very interesting way to look at first games and series and stuff. I know there's probably a lot of fact finding and he's going to make adjustments going forward. But my thing is, we didn't have to lose this game. And this leaves so little room for margin for error. If when Leonard comes back, I mean, this was a game that it's not about winning or losing. It's about the energy that was put on the floor was a minus.
Yeah.
And how do you do that in a playoff game where you're favored? And that kind of worries me because we've been talking about playing Zubac off the floor. We've been talking about, Leonard's not here. And everybody from all of the national heads are saying, with the exception of Keyshawn Johnson, the Mavs.
Sure.
Did the Mavs have that volume up too loud a little bit this week? And maybe I'm just a bruised and battered Dallas Cowboy fan where I'm overreacting over.
No, I mean, like, more or less, it gets a little more telling the further you get in the playoffs. But by and large, historically, the team that wins game one tends to win the series. Like, that's just the way it's gone. Now, the fact that Kidd has gone 0 for 4 in all of his game ones, and my man just accidentally kicked himself off the show, but that's okay. And it's one of those things that just makes you a little alarmed. Now, can the Mavericks win 4 out of the next 6? Absolutely. Absolutely, the Mavericks can win 4 of the next 6 games. I'm not really too worried. That's okay. It happens. The technology is hard. But you don't want to give yourself like the additional, like you don't want to like decrease your margin for error. I really thought, I think I wrote the Mavericks in 6. I can't remember. I might have like loudly blathered Mavericks in 4 yesterday, but I was, I don't, I think I was kidding. I don't know. Clippers, game 6 Kawhi in 2021 just sort of lives in the back of my head. Because he was just so good that game. It's like 18 of 25 from the floor. God, just never seen anything quite like that. And it's like an underappreciated playoff game because the Clippers never really went on to do much after that because Kawhi got hurt. Yeah, but you got anything else for us, Glenn? What else are you thinking? Nope, Glenn can't hear me. That's okay. All right, we're gonna go to GD next. GD, how you doing?
Good, Kirk. Can you hear me?
I can.
How you doing, man?
At least it's not late at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, speak for yourself, man. It's 12:15 at midnight over here.
Oh, you're one of my late night fans. Where are you calling in from?
Ireland.
Well, at least it's not like 3 a.m, but I'm appreciative that you stayed up to hang out and talk a little basketball with us. What'd you think of that game?
It's probably the most heartbreaking thing about it, man. That is probably going to be the only game in this entire series and probably the entire playoff run that was on at a reasonable hour in my country.
So next Sunday is also same time as this game.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, well, fingers crossed it's a bit better than that anyway.
That's right. And it'll be in Dallas for that one. So that's a big one.
No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. You know what, man? I think one thing I kind of want to talk about is there's a lot of tweets going up looking for one particular thing to pin the loss on.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, oh, Jason Kidd lost the game because of this, or Luka's uncharacteristic shooting was because of this, or the bottom line is there was just a combination of things you can't overcome.
I think that's right. You get off to a bad start, which happens, but then you can't even remotely dig yourself out of it until you're down like 24 to 25 points. That's where the rest of it just starts to feel like, well, at what point do I just write this entire game off? I mean, I'm sort of surprised Kidd. I mean, I'm not that surprised, but I'm sort of surprised Kidd kept everybody in when they were down 23. It's like, at what point was he going to pull the starters?
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes, you know, the way Jason Kidd always says he's not playing, he's just out there watching. I think sometimes Jason Kidd thinks he's a random Mavs fan watching on TV, thinking that this is going to be one of those super heroic Luka moments where he just pulls game winners out of his back pocket and just does everything that Kidd could possibly need him to do by himself.
Yeah,
I think sometimes Kidd is waiting for that to happen, and that is just such an unfair thing to do to Luka. And I'm not going to sit here and defend Luka. Luka sucked tonight. I mean, both him and Kai obviously turned it up in the second half, and that was great to see. But the entire team dug us into a hole in the first half that we just couldn't get out of. And that includes Luka, that includes Kyrie, that includes Kidd, that definitely includes Gaff. Man, he got kicked around by Zubac.
Yeah.
No, he got destroyed.
Yeah.
Dude,
never seen him get beat like that during probably since the trade deadline. Like, there's been a few games where he's been off, but not where he got outright bullied. And there was this weird graphic that I saw around social media. It was like from some Instagram account, but it basically had like a lot of Mavs fans were mad that like Zubac, it was like a ranking of all the starters, like on both teams, you know, kind of like a 1 to 10.
Yeah,
and like beyond the fact that it had Tim Hardaway as like the 8th most important player in the series, which was weird. It didn't have Gafford on it at all. And like Mavs fans were real mad. And I'm like, I didn't really like. Zubac is always a guy I thought is very. He's just so useful. Like when the Lakers got rid of him several years ago, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was the Lakers. Like it was during, and it was like, what are we doing? This guy's actually useful. Yeah. And he's just such a solid player, big-bodied, skilled. Like I love bigs like him and Steven Adams, where it's like, all right, sometimes you're gonna get played off the floor just because of the way basketball gets played these days. But if you get things going right, it's really brutal. It's really, and he just like, he punished the Mavericks. He was as responsible for that start as James Harden. And it was shocking.
Yeah, I agree completely, man. I agree completely. I think it's just the memories that Mavs fans have of watching Luka roast that guy alive, that Mavs fans seem to think he's some sort of bum. He's not. He is a good center. He's a strong center, and he is a problem. I knew he was going to give Gaff issues. I knew he was going to give Lively issues. I just didn't think he would absolutely destroy them. Yeah. Now, obviously, he did more damage to Gaff than he did to Lively, but I expected him to be a bit of a problem. I didn't think Ty Lue was going to let Luka cook him all series long. That was not going to happen. Like any Mavs fan who was like looking back at highlights of Luka shooting step backs over his head, Ty Lue was never going to let that happen again. That was not going to be an option. So the fact that Luka didn't get to roast Zubac and the fact that he was in the paint killing Gaff.
Well, and he guarded Luka pretty well, I think is also worth noting, where Luka wasn't exactly trying to fire off the threes. There was one early possession that PJ hit a corner three out of it, one of his 2 made threes, but it was kind of a heinous possession where Luka danced way too damn much with Zubac on the outside. And I thought he had multiple times during the game where he could have at least attempted kind of, one of the, it would be a difficult layup, but not impossible, where he instead opted to kick out to the 3-point line with Zubac on his hip. And I just wonder if he didn't have the burst tonight and was worried about Zubac coming and blocking his stuff. It was an impressive performance. It was from the Clippers in that regard, because it's, again, like you said, the Mavericks have played him off the floor in a couple of series, and instead he is now a concern point for the Mavericks, which simply wasn't the case before the game.
Yeah, I gotta admit I didn't see it coming. I really didn't. I didn't think he was going to be something I had to worry about. I thought my biggest concern going into this was going to be Kawhi and that 1 or 2 games in a series where James Harden is on fire. I thought that was going to be our biggest problem, but turns out we got something else to worry about now, and we wasted a Kawhi-free game. We really, really should have seized this.
Yeah.
I don't think the series is over. It's not a lost cause. I think we still got this, but man, that's a tough one to drop, and especially when you consider the reasons you drop it. There's this. I want to say this one more thing, Kirk. I don't want to take up your whole night, but there's this one weird game from the Blazers in 1999 where they apparently scored 5 points in the fourth quarter in a playoff game. For some reason, that is coming up on some stats and not on others. So whether it's a real thing or not that actually happened, that second quarter was either the second lowest scoring quarter in NBA history in a playoff or the third, depending on, for whatever reason, that Blazers game is on some list and not other. So it was either the second or third lowest scoring quarter in playoff history. And that is just a killer, man. When you have Luka and Kyrie out there and that happens.
Yeah.
So that is not a list I want to be on.
Well, it wouldn't be the Dallas Mavericks unless something really weird happened in a way that longtime fans can't contextualize. I was looking, there was actually this went around Mavs Moneyball Slack. The Mavericks only scored 2 points against Los Angeles Lakers in a regular season game in 1997. So things have actually been worse for the Mavericks. It's just been years. Yeah, no, not a playoff game. The 90s Mavericks were among the worst professional franchises in all of sports. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, thankfully I was born in the 90s, so I don't have any memories of having to live through that.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you staying up late and talking with us. Maybe we'll catch you next Sunday too, okay?
Yeah, hopefully for a more cheerful conversation.
All right, talk soon.
All right, peace out, man.
Bye. All right, we're going to bring up, let's see here. We're going to bring up Mr. Dang, noted angry old man of the chat, older than me. Doe, what's going on, dude? What's going on? What are you thinking?
Hey, we lost one. I mean, we came in totally unprepared. Exactly what I thought it was going to be. We lollygagged the last 2 games, and I understand resting Luka and everything, but we didn't have a plan to start off with. Sorry, I missed the first part of your show and stuff.
That's what this is about. It's better than arguing in the chat. As like we have Clippers fans who are trying to, they won, they control, and nobody's being too mean, and we're all pretty grumpy. Fanatic, just to address this one question, Fanatic wants to know when Kawhi is coming back, and I think that none, like, it's nobody knows. Kawhi will show up and do work whenever it is in his best interest and he wants to. So we could see him on Tuesday. We could also not see him for the rest of this series.
The way that we're playing, they don't need Kawhi.
Oh no, not tonight. Shoot, they won by 12. Yeah. Like they were up by 29 points at one point. Kawhi, he was having a great time on the bench.
Right. I agree. I mean, I love your coach. I mean, if you switched coaches with us, I think we'd win a championship.
I don't know, man. Lou is a good coach, but Lou also has a tendency to coach down. Like if the Mavericks come back and win this series, I think like Lou will end up taking a lot of the heat. Like it took him again. I mentioned this with the last caller. It took him until Game 3 to realize that the Clippers should have gone small in 2021 and to torch the Mavericks. So
yeah, it's scary though that Kid always reflexively goes to what he knows, and that's to go small, and to go to the same players, and.
Well, what would you have had him do tonight? What would you have? Because I was a little frustrated with him, but for different reasons. What would you have had him do tonight? Because the players knew he chose to play. I mean, everybody was missing everything. So it's like Derrick Jones Jr.
I agree.
He can't play and go 0 for 4. You have to be a threat.
Oh, I agree. But I would have put in Green for the defense, because he showed a spark. Did he not? I mean, the few minutes that he in there, he got a steal, got some rebounds. He attacked the rim aggressively. I would have done that. I would have played some Hardy too. Hardaway was not good again. It's just he goes to the same formula, and I'm tired of seeing the same formula. Green,
it's tough because at a certain point, the starters, the guys who are in the game, you hate PJ Washington at 11 points, so you hate to be too bad on him. But again, he shot under 50% from the floor.
And then Maxey was useless.
Maxey's
useless.
Maxey's the one who really,
on the offense.
really, I think he's the one who deserves the most ire here, because he is just. There is a big, like, you can see it in his face when he catches the ball that he does not
want to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants to bury himself on the bench right there. Defense was okay with Maxey.
Yeah.
Defense was okay, but still, it's just, I'm just tired of seeing the same formula, Well, if you're down by almost 30 points.
That's why you hope they move on from right away to at the end of the season anyways. Just because it's a crutch. Whereas, the Mavericks have won by playing big, and they missed so many damn shots that Kidd tried something random. I wish he just would have called some more timeouts and kind of ground the game to a real halt and allowed the Mavericks to, done something for the Mavericks.
Thrown a fit, gotten kicked out, just gotten suspended even, made a freaking statement, because I'm tired of him just sitting there.
It's tough because the players just have to play better. I'm with you on a lot of this stuff most games, but when you're watching some of the things that was going on in this game, particularly in that second quarter, you sort of throw your hands up and go, "What are you guys doing? You look scared." Everybody looked scared. Dante Exum, who has played, if you go look at some of the games that there's some of the arenas that he played,
they look tight. They look tight.
They look so tight, and it was like fuck, and
right.
That's on them. That's not on Kidd. In my opinion.
At the same time, the leaders and the coaches have to go, bam. Like Rick. What would have done? Rick would have called a bunch of timeouts. He would have thrown a hissy fit. Done something, and the leadership. Luka, I'm calling out you, Luka. I'm calling out you, Kyrie. You should have, after the first quarter, should have rounded up the guys and blew into your guys. And that's where, if Luka wants to take the next step to be a real MVP, he shows that leadership right then and there. And if it can't come from the coach, it's got to come from the players. If it can't come from Luka, don't you have veterans supposedly that you brought in to help them? You have the 15th man on the bench. He's supposed to be, what's his name? He's supposed to be a guiding light. But right there, you got to have a guy that's going to light into your, the players, whether it's a coach.
This is worth pointing out. So in the chat, Kay Yadagami points out that Kyrie was getting into everybody during timeouts. He was. Kyrie was doing a really strong.
Okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
No, there was a lot of that going on, but it's like when you're down by 29, how much energy are you expending, emotional and physical, to get back into that game?
Right, but if he would have gotten kicked out, it would have given the Mavericks time to have a breather.
Sure.
It would. I mean,
it's what you're really asking, what I'm asking for, and you're asking for, variations of a theme, which is where it looks like, okay, can we not make our adjustments after the game? Can we do anything in the game? And this was one where the adjustment was, can we please score the damn basketball? Which they did in the second half. They scored a lot easier. Right. It's just when you're down by 26 going into halftime, really 29, because Harden comes in and knocks that first one down almost immediately. It kind of felt like the game was kind of over. Like, this is a big, hopefully in game 2, this is much ado about nothing, where we're coming in to talk about a lot more interesting things other than how do the Mavericks not get their ass beat?
Right. But can a coach draw up an easy play to take advantage of, the momentum swing? If you saw it every time Tyronn and Lue called the timeout, there was a successful play drawn up, an easy bucket, that broke our backs. Kidd had no counters for that.
I mean, they tried one in the second quarter, and the Clippers fouled Gafford, and just they did a great job at stomping on all Dallas momentum. So
they did, but I just don't think that Kidd has the counters. In the next game, we'll see.
It's tough for me on this because I'm not a Kidd guy, but they did it on a great stretch of the season, and
they
frankly,
did. But he rested on his laurels.
I mean. We'll see. Okay.
No creativity coming into the series because you're going to have to throw in counters. A 7-game series is about adjusting.
But that's also on the players. And so, we have a little bit of an intense debate going on in the chat about the kind of Luka Kyrie play style, about whether Luka needs to get more guys involved off ball. And I'm just kind of like, guys, we got to the playoffs, got to this seed. When Luka and Kyrie play together, they win most of their games. Like, this is like, what are we doing? I have a feeling that some of the same people would say Luka needs to change the way he plays, even if they're in the finals. It's like, it's just,
you can't
always
do that.
Those
That's not possible.
Well, no, and if the Mavericks have one more dynamic scorer, I think you kind of have to have those conversations, but they don't. You have Luka, you have Kyrie, PJ. You hope he gets it some games, but he just doesn't. So it's like there's an element of the Mavericks just need to play better. Kid is a front running coach. We've talked about that a lot in the sense of when the Mavericks are playing well, he coaches the shit out of them. When they're playing bad, he's like, "What do I do?"
Right, but you notice they didn't push the tempo either. They didn't push the tempo. If you kind of look, I'm like, why are we playing so slow? Well, this is an old team we're playing against.
This is a funny comment. And this is where I don't know I know that we're not watching the same shit. Dude, when Luka is off and Kyrie is cooking, you have to run through him. That's the point. What do you think they did in the third quarter? He went
they did great from the floor.
They ran through him. He Kyrie Irving is 32 years old or however old he is. He doesn't want to take 45 shots. He wants to be the guy and he wants to be the guy who comes in and absolutely finishes the fight. He doesn't want to start it. And that's what he's done.
I agree.
He's been incredible.
Yeah. So. I mean, but he played tremendous in starting in the middle of the third and all the way to toward the end of the fourth. I mean, both him and Luka were on a roll, but they kept on answering.
Luka
kept on answering.
He missed a lot of the post ups and the bunnies and shit like that. It was
but he did he was terrible in the beginning. The first half, Luka was like, man, where's Luka? I'm like, is he on the second floor? Just like that song from the 80s,
and that's where it's like, I always have to flirt the difference between pissing off Luka super fans and pissing off Kyrie Irving super fans. Whereas I am a Dallas Mavericks fan above all else. And it's like I thought Kyrie played mostly great today. I thought he was pretty much the lone bright spot. I think Luka didn't play that well today, and I'm probably going to eat a lot. I'm going to get a lot of grief for that.
Let me be the bad guy. The bad guy. I'll call out Luka. He was a piece of shit, you guys, the first half.
A little much.
His defense was minimal. He was Olay. He wasn't here. I don't know what he was doing. He was an embarrassment. He was non-MVP. He didn't even deserve to be in the top 5 the way he played in the first half. Not at all. I mean, call it a spade a spade.
He'll come back. He'll come back this next game. And Luka rarely has 2 bad games in a row. I don't remember a playoff game like that from him ever. But hey, we got 2 more folks. I've never seen
this poor. I'm sorry, my bad.
Well, no, it's okay. We got 2 more guys I want to get to, and then I'm pretty sure my wife is gonna be like, "Why are you still talking about this game?" So,
all right. Thanks, Kirk.
Hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care, buddy.
All right, JJ coming up next. JJ, how you doing?
Kirk, how's it going?
Good. What's going on?
Doing well, man. Haven't been on one of these in, about a year since I was on last year after the last playoff run ended. Appreciate you doing these.
2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't have a playoff run last year. We had the sad Price is Right noise as the Mavericks died in March and April.
Yeah, I try to whitewash that from my memory as much as possible. That last caller said a lot of things I wanted to say, so I'll try to keep this quick. But
nope, go ahead.
To me, it looked like rust and perhaps a little bit of overconfidence. I think our guys are online quite a bit. They just looked lethargic in that first half. Luka especially looked rusty. We're about the same age. I'm a lifelong Mavs fan. I love Luka, but I'm a Mavs fan first and foremost, and I have no issues calling him out. He didn't look like he was into it in the first half, and in a way, I think this is a good thing because, from my experience, a pissed off Luka is the most dangerous Luka.
It's a good take.
In that Sun series, a few years back, when he was pissed after that game when we got whooped in Phoenix, that's when he showed out the best. So I'm hopeful in that. That's what gives me the most hope. What gets me really worried is the coaching disparity, and not to beat a dead horse, but last time we had Carlisle and this time we have Kidd, and that really worries me going forward. Obviously, the timeout thing, folks have talked about that plenty. But one thing that I noticed that was killing our offensive game in the first half was the pick and roll, the high pick and roll with Luka. Like, I'm curious if you had any takes on that. It's or if you've gone back and watched it all, but it just looked like our high pick and roll with Luka was ineffective. He wasn't able to hit the lob man, and it just seemed like they were rotating or doing something different from what we had seen in the regular season.
So, and again, I've not watched it again, but what I was seeing was they were sort of daring Luka to score, but also crowding him out from right at the rim. He had one or two right at the rim, which he scored at, but everything else he was kind of getting ridden outside the lane. The lobs were not there, which is just good defense. The Clippers have a lot of rangy 6'9" guys. And so the end result would be Luka making a late pass to the corner, which was either PJ or Derek Jones Jr. And they're bad three-point shooters. It's not, I'm not being critical here. Like, statistically, they're not very good three-point shooters, even on open shots. And that's been sort of a known weakness where you hope that the Mavericks will find a way to make it work. And we've seen games where it can and it absolutely breaks the game wide open. And we've seen games where they've struggled. And so I think they're going to go look at some tape and they'll figure out what they might be able to do differently. The kid is pretty good at adjustments. Where we lose our minds as fans is that he doesn't make any of those adjustments in game.
Right.
And I don't know if that's because him and the team need to go look at tape, but they'll figure out something. The Clippers just have a lot more size. It's why Luka was always going to be a better defender than Trae Young, for example. It's because he's bigger. He's just able to take up more space when his arms are out. So right. There's something there. I still feel I'm not like hopeless. I'm just annoyed.
Yeah. And building on what you just said, I think just look at how few dunks we had and how we got outboarded, right? Like they were doing something on the boards and down low to keep us from dunking. And like, we just weren't able to exert our dominance down low, especially on the boards on the offensive and defensive side. And sure. I feel like that was one of the biggest differences, versus the end of the regular season, that really great run we were on. So hopefully Kid can make some adjustments and fix that. And just, last few points here. Kyrie is such a warrior, man. That guy is. I wasn't a huge Kyrie fan entering, when he came to Dallas, but the leadership he's shown, and just like the fire, like when we were down big in the second half, I love to see that. So hopefully that comes to benefit us later in this playoff run if it goes long enough. And then PJ, I was pretty worried about this being PJ's first game in the playoffs. I don't know if you listened to the JJ Redick and LeBron pod. They had a whole playoff episode this last week, and they were just talking about how it's a completely different game and how guys, some guys just can't step up to that big stage when they hit it for the first time. But I thought PJ, I liked his defense and his willingness to shoot in the first half. I felt like he was one of the lone bright spots.
It's sort of tough for me to tell, to be quite honest, because he shoots the ball so damn bad that like, yeah. How are we, was he rattled by Russell Westbrook? No. Overall, I thought he played pretty well. I think, if he hits one more shot and scores 14 points instead of 11, do I feel differently about his game? Not really. I think he did his job. I'd like to see him score a little bit more, but I don't think he attacks the floor really well from the middle of the floor, and he only had opportunities that I can recall coming off of the baseline or the wings, and really is shooting threes from the wings. I thought he did fine. So
yeah, he did fine. Like obviously he didn't have a great game, right? But he wasn't hesitant. He wasn't tentative. Like he was being aggressive on both the offensive and defensive side. So that gives me some hope going forward. And then last thing I'll say is I think Nash had that quote. These games or these series are long. After you lose a game, it feels like you'll never win one again, and after you win, it feels like you'll never lose again, right? So let's try to keep a level head, Mavs fans, and just take this one game at a time. If we split here, in LA, it's still a victory, right, on the road trip. So we just need to win this next one, and we'll be right where we need to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with this. I agree with this. JJ, thanks for joining. I hope you come back.
All right, thanks, man.
All right. We got 3 more people joining late. I got to find a way. This is more of a Kirk problem. I have to find a way to like kill the first 10 minutes. Like I need to come up with an opening monologue like I'm Conan O'Brien or something, and in the sense of people join, but it takes a little while to get in here because we have a lot of folks that are watching. You guys can see this. The Twitter numbers are still broke, but we got 250 people from YouTube and probably another couple hundred on Twitter. But nobody wants to talk at first. So anyways, we got Mike. Looks like he's driving, our second driving guy. Mike, what's going on?
What up?
Tell me what you're thinking. Yep. You sound great.
Okay. I'm trying to find something good about what just happened. What I just saw on my first screen. I took them off my second screen. It was a bad move. I'm going to watch Fallout next game instead of watching that bullshit. But I think that they just didn't take it seriously enough. If you think about the Clippers, Paul George is probably going to fucking leave. They're going into a new stadium. James Harden is playing for a fucking contract. Like this, and they're fucking losers, all of them. Paul George is a loser. James Harden is a loser. Russell Westbrook is a fucking loser. So wow. I mean, yeah, this was like their fucking championship. They rolled in there like it was their fucking championship, game 1 of the first series, because they're a bunch of bum losers.
Wow.
And we didn't take it as serious. I'm trying. This is all fake, but I'm trying to find something to make it okay.
Because it's when you get punched in the mouth that hard, like it's like you got these Clippers fans that are in the chat, like kind of trolling, and I'm like what are we really trolling? Like you won pretty handily. This wasn't like, what are we gonna say? No, you didn't. How dare?
Exactly.
Shit out of the Mavericks. What are you gonna
do? I just want them to know that this is their championship, okay? Because there's no way fucking they need a championship this year to justify all the bullshit they did. I just want the Clippers trolls to know that you guys mortgaged your future and you've barely won anything. Make it to a fucking finals, you loser bums. They're gonna lose probably.
Mike, we've also mortgaged our future to get PJ Daniel Gafford.
That doesn't make any sense. You're a liar. We have some young players.
It's Luke, you're Luke Skywalker holding on to the pole. That's not true. That's impossible.
We're not the Clippers. All right, whatever. We got Dirk highlights to watch. What do they got?
Right. Hey, man. Hope to see you Tuesday night, all right?
All right, see you.
And Fallout fucking rules. How far into it are you?
I've only watched the first episode.
The first episode is good, but it has a great finale, which never happens. I was shocked. It's fantastic.
Nice.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, see you.
All right, coming up next is Ewan. We'll see if we can actually get Ewan's audio to work. Ewan, are you there? Ewan used to be able to connect to the show, and since he's been joined and then he removed, he can't figure out a way to get in the show now. Which we're gonna have to DM a little bit and figure this one out. Tyron, welcome to the show. Welcome back. What's going on?
Hey, not much. I'm joining late. Sorry. But hey, I just wanted to throw a few pointers in there. Guys, cut it out. Like, this game 1, this was a fluke. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of came into the game under the assumption that, one, the Mavericks probably had way too much time off, and this is what happens usually. And look at what happened. Strike 1. Strike 2 is, Jason Kidd's not really the best strategist in the world, and I bet he was banking on Kawhi Leonard not playing, and since he didn't play today, he probably just thought he'd mosey in there and let the Clippers beat themselves, which isn't the case. 3, I'm gonna make this quick. So I have to go, and I'm pretty sure you want to go too. But 3, everybody's saying that they wanted to see the Clippers. Like, guys, that's no. Like they Granted, I think the Mavericks are the better team, hands down, 100%. But these guys aren't pushovers. These guys are seasoned playoff vets. They haven't won much, but let's be honest. Kawhi, Paul George, Harden, Westbrook, all those guys, they can be dangerous. Like, let's not play ourselves. You know what I mean? And I feel like the team walked in there with that same mentality, like, oh, we just got this.
Sure.
However, I say all that to say, for a team to only have 53 points in the half versus a team shooting 24%, that's not a good look for the Clippers. So I'm not really worried. This game was a straight up fluke. Now, if this happens game 2, then yeah, we can start talking about being worried. But right now, it is what it is. I'm not too concerned, honestly.
I appreciate some level of positivity coming into the show. Thank you, man.
Yep, you're welcome, Kirk.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Yep.
All right, Ewan, I can see his handsome face and luscious beard, so we're going to get him up here. And then we got Henry as well. Ewan, what's up, my brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Could be better.
Yeah, that was a tough watch. Second quarter.
I can you'll relate to this because you got a young kid too. I think my wife is doing bedtime with one of them right now, and then I can hear her yelling at the other one. And so the moment I get off this podcast, I too will be getting yelled at. So it's great. It's just a great day. What a fun Sunday. Basketball's fun.
I'll try to do my best to keep them quiet, trying to hop up here, but they just running around still. But that's not a good way to start the playoffs. All the hype, all the the excitement we had going into the first game, and that's what we gave up in the second quarter. So that was pretty disappointing. But overall, I'm not that bummed about it. I would have loved to have won game 1, regardless of who's playing or who's not playing. The home teams are always hyped for game 1. So, and the game 1 is always the game you can do to make your adjustments. But it's just like, we have a lot of newcomers on our team that never been in this kind of environment, never had this experience. So we don't know how much that affected them. We don't know how much mentally that, they was thinking about that kind of stuff. But overall, I think the defense was pretty good. Compared to how we end the season, how he's playing defensively, the defense was pretty good today. Second half, we give it 50 points second half.
They got to guard some of they got to challenge the 3-point shots a little better.
Yeah.
Like James Harden made some absolutely amazing shots. Yes. But then Paul George missed a wide open corner. The Jason Kidd defense sometimes allows wide open corner
threes
in protection of the paint. That's actually a feature. That's not a bug. But there was some of this going on today where I'm just like, why is that guy? There's no one near some of these shooters, and that they got to clear that up, even if it's a late challenge.
Yeah, I'm not so much for doubling Paul George or James Harden right now. There's no Kawhi. Like you said, we're giving the wide open shots to these role players, and then they get a rhythm, and now they just hitting whenever they get the ball. It's like I'm not a fan of doubling Paul George and Kawhi right now. We have solid defenders to play man up with these guys. We don't need to. I don't honestly feel like we need to be doubling them. And like the Zubas game, 20 career high, 20 points or whatever it was. This is like, I don't think that's gonna happen again, But it's just like I said, like Jason Kidd is a good, like we said, is a good next game at making adjustments. But in game, he's terrible. He's terrible, and I felt that we always as a team that bend to the opposer, to the opponents we're facing. And the last 18 games, we've kind of enforced our will. Like, we dictate the terms and we dictate how we're playing. And I don't want to see us keep, okay, this is what the team is doing, so now we have to do this. Like, we gotta enforce our will a little bit. Let them play our game. We can't always be the team that's adjusting to the opposition.
Well, that actually hasn't been happening during the wins. They play kind of a sloppy first quarter. They get their shit together, and then they play much better. The problem in this game that I saw was they played a sloppy first quarter. They looked lackadaisical, and then Russell Westbrook punched them in the mouth to start the second quarter, and they never got back on their feet. They were holding, oh no, I'm hurt. And there was a lot of that until Kyrie turned on in the third quarter. But by that point, you're down 29 points.
You're down 20.
And so what do you do? Not too much, apparently.
Like I said with JK, he had no momentum plays in the game. Talou took a chance on his challenge in the first half. The players are, telling you to challenge that leg kick out. What do you have to lose at that point? Is either you give up 3 points, which that's a foul call, or you win it and it's overturned. What do you have to lose?
No, they were down by 16 when that foul was called.
Yeah.
They were down by 6, and so
Right. And then we get Tim Hardaway Jr. minutes. He's running a fast break, a 3-on-1 fast break. He want to take it up himself. Give him the ball.
That was crazy. That was one, like, there was one guy, it's so stupid because Twitter doesn't matter, but I was arguing with one guy for like 2 days about how Tim Hardaway isn't in the rotation, the playoff rotation. He's like, what are you talking about? He played, and I'm like, when things tighten up, he's not going to play. Only things weren't tight because Mavericks getting the ass beat. And so he played some minutes and he's like, I'm going to get the rebound and go coast to coast. And every single Mavs fan that watches knew it was going to happen.
We knew it was going to be a disaster. We saw it happen.
And then the man misses the fucking free throw.
We knew it was a disaster. So it's just
funny.
Like, give those minutes to Josh Green. You know, Josh Green he was a big plus in the second half. He made, intensity was up, his aggressiveness was up. And if Tim's not going to make shots, Tim cannot run a fast break. He cannot. We've seen this for years and years and years. I don't know why he constantly do that. The coaching staff is supposed to instill in him, fast break, give it up. If you have the advantage, give it up. And Tim constantly does not do that.
That's right.
I mean, but I just need you guys to come out more aggressive in the second game. And for Luka, can't make the adjustment and put Luka on the block a lot more. Like you said, they're trapping the double team.
But Luka's got to make those shots on the block. That's what he didn't do today. He was not hitting those shots, and it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, I mean, I feel that I feel pretty confident in my game too. And just like I said, come out aggressive. Luka have the killer mentality, like we know he has, and like. Jason Kidd has got to be better with his in-game adjustments and in-game timeouts. Like, you can feel momentum, you can feel the swing. Just be ready for it, and don't be scared to call a quick timeout in the first 2-3 minutes. Like Rick Carlisle would do 2 minutes in the game, and he don't like the first people just in timeout. Like, hey guys, get it together, And last thing I have to say is, like, the Clippers did some cheap shots this game. Like the Paul George check to Gafford that got him injured. And Richard Jefferson the same.
I didn't like Gafford was pulling a Josh Green where he was falling over already. And I'm like, how are you falling over? Did you slip on water?
And then Luka gets elbowed in the head by
That's
Zubac.
His boy, though. They're countrymen. That's like you elbowing your friend in the game at 21. They're not countrymen, obviously, but those guys in the Balkans, that whole region. I know Slovenia's not in the Balkans. Don't yell at me, overseas fans. But those guys all like each other. So that's anyway. Well, I'm glad you joined.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm trying to go to game 3 or 4.
Woo.
Presumably game 4 if prices go my way, but I'm gonna try to head out there for game 4. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome. All right, man. Talk soon.
Take care.
All right. Coming up last, my man Henry. What's going on, guy?
What's going on, Chief? I'm sitting here at work for a little bit, so I was trying to call in a little bit sooner. So I'll start off with the negative, then we'll get to the positive. Negative. Kids bald ass got out coached. Holy shit, was Ty Lue's out of timeout drawing immaculate. Ty Lue absolutely ran circles around Jason Kidd today. He said he was prepared for Kawhi and for him not to play, and I saw none of that today. So he doesn't tell us the truth. He clearly wasn't prepared today in the slightest. Obviously, we got people who's this is the first time being in the playoffs. That was clearly apparent. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to be honest with you. We can go 0-2 tomorrow, and I'm still not worried about this series. Russell Westbrook, Terrence Mann, 5 of 7 from 3. That's not happening again. Harden, 28 points. I'm sorry, fam. This was like their high of
Harden
highs.
Played great.
They're not doing this again.
Harden played there was his threes are either going to go or they're not. But he had a floater in the first half that was like just classic MVP Harden that pissed me off to no end because it was just such a fucking good shot.
I'm gonna be honest with you, fam. I'm not worried about it. I've seen PG fold too many times. I've seen Harden fold too many times. Like mentally, they're just weak. When asses get tight, mom's spaghetti, arms is heavy, knees. Like, I'm sorry, I do not trust them in the slightest. So, I'm not worried about it. This game felt like to me. Like, I saw nothing that made me panic to be like, we can't beat it. I still got Mavs in 5, 6 if Kawhi comes back. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. We're gonna go tomorrow. We're gonna split it, and then we're gonna go 2 up at home. It's gonna be 3-1. We close them out. Like, I'm not worried about this in the slightest. Kyrie saw what it was in that third quarter. He was like, all right, I'm going to have to take this over. So I expect Kai to fully be engaged from the opening tip, second game, and moving on forward. Kai's not going to let this play out. I'm sorry. I've seen Luka at 2021 when they were healthy and younger. He put 40 on their top. I'm not worried about this in the slightest.
I'll be honest. I was glad to see that third quarter from Kyrie because he and Luka were so bad on defense in the first quarter. They were so bad on defense where I was like, there were a couple of switches where And I know sometimes it's the first quarter. You don't want to pick up a stupid foul, but it's like, guys, lock in a little bit. And they've just, I don't know. I think they've gotten used to kind of coming out and being a little just sort of feeling out what the other team does. Only the Clippers never missed from three. Right. And you just can't, they have too many good 3-point shooters to have that kind of attitude. So, yeah. Well, I very much appreciate you joining. What else are you thinking before we get on out of Dodge?
I'm not worried about it. We're going to light their ass up. They're going to fold mentally, whether Kawhi comes back or he doesn't. 5 games if they take it serious, 6 if the Mavs decide to play with their food. I'm not worried about this.
Love it.
We'll be back on the next one. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Man.
All right, see you late Tuesday night. Tuesday night. All right, bye. All right, so this is the final guest. I'm going to head on out. Thank you so much. We had one more folk. Marco sent us a tip as well. He said it's been really frustrating to see how easy baskets the Mavericks seem to have, that they would get fouled and then miss the free throws. Yeah, they did miss a lot of stupid free throws tonight. Guys, Josh and I will be back on Tuesday night. I know for certain Josh will be back on Tuesday night. This was just easier to go ahead and do this. He was going to be available later tonight, but I wanted to get on with the show here. Thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with me. We, we'll have plenty of stuff over at Mavs Moneyball, kind of overanalyzing this element of the game. It's that time of year. This has been Kirk Henderson of Pod Maverick, and this has been Group Therapy. Talk to you guys soon, and go Mavs.